I don't know. I've been saving a lot of these random pointless, like...
Can't carry anymore.
These random pointlessly shitty comments left and right. I'm just like, I'm gonna save these. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with it. Person is trolling have to be. I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. I need people to do the, like, sarcasm tag. Because the problem is, like, without that, I'm just assuming they're a dumpster fire of a human being. And I ban them. So, like... let's see. That's an actual usability, so I don't think we really want that. It's okay, but I like that lightning orb. Okay, we have... Oh, are these both... Oh, no. We lose the Marauder Salvo for an extra 10%... Okay. Nah, that's really good. Like, +1 to all demolitionist skills. That is good. But losing the proc ability, I don't think is worth it. You said it yourself, they're pointless. Oh, I absolutely know. I'm always a little bit taken aback by the amount of weird vitriol that people will just chuck around.
I'll keep your stash safe.
It never really seems like it's worth the effort. Ooh. Let's grab that. Move that over. We have another tainted brain matter.
I'll hold on to that for you.
Okay, grab both of those. Grab the lore. I seriously have no idea what this heart is used for.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Okay, Fetish of Blood. I think that's what I had on previously.
Put it to good use.
Alright, let's get out of here. Well, like, I'd be okay with it if people use sarcastic tags a lot more often. Because when they're not sarcastic, I just assume the worst. I think truly just because I do come across a lot of, like, terrible people. Just because they exist, and it's kind of like, well, I mean, if that person was... I don't know. Somebody wrote a big, long rant a while back about how he's really looking forward to the next big war and how it'll be finally time for him to rise up with all of his guns and get rid of any single human being that has ever cared about anybody else, because that's like a sign of human weakness, and it's just a bunch of other things. It was vile shit. And it was very clearly like he was super passionate about this because it was part of like a 5-page thread where he was just like yelling passionately about this. It's like, okay, maybe possibly he was trolling, but like if you're going that far to troll... Oh, we found Dahlia. Whoops. If you're going that far to troll, then you're not trolling anymore. You just believe it, whether or not you think you do. You believe it, or at least you embody the thing that you say you don't believe in. Let's see, prefer it when streamers are solo acts, but you're not going to go yell about it on YouTube. I understand that. I mean, generally, other people you have to either get invested in, or, like, other people, you know, you didn't sign on to watch random other schmuck. You signed on to watch the one streamer. I think from my perspective, though, like, I really like having Shell around because, yeah, if I'm focused, super helpful. Also, I can't voice act ladies for beans, because go figure. I am a dude. I'm not even that good at voice acting. I've got a couple that, like, really stand out, but otherwise it's a fairly limited selection of wacky. And so, yeah, having a secondary voice that is very capable at handling every other voice, super helpful. I could do without that scream as part of the soundtrack. That's one thing I don't like about this song. Or maybe it's this area? I don't really know. Speaking of people, I guess, mellowing out and whatnot, and me being either both more merciless but also friendlier in my comment sections, used to belong to a Legend of Zelda specific forum. It was like a fan game forum. I didn't really participate in a whole lot of the fan games. One of my friends was super active there, so I just followed him. And I remember, like, at the tail end of me being active on the forum, before going to college, one of the, there was this random kid that joined. And he was actually insufferable. Like, guy would, you know, anywhere from, like, I would post my art onto the forum, and he would spend, you know, multiple pages just railing about how the art was terrible, and I'm like, you're just kind of a shitty person. And, like, we were doing a RP. More or less it was a D&D campaign, but without all the extra stats and whatnot. And he joined and would, like, you know, the easy example would be like I'm gonna teleport and stab your character. It's like, what? No. And so we just eventually ignored him. But he was just kind of this, like, little shit constantly. It was really interesting, because he was a little shit for, like, years, apparently. Because I found the forum when I was in college, and he effectively drove everybody off. And the interesting thing is, you could kind of tell when, once he'd driven everybody off, he had no one to talk to, and so he actually had to take responsibility for driving literally everyone off of this forum, to the point where he is now the forum admin and the place doesn't suck anymore. And I was just so, like, I was so confused, because he seemed so impassioned about pissing everybody off, that he was able to make such a weird 180 and, like, not be a trash goblin of a human being. And I'm assuming it's just because he was young, and now that he's older, he realizes it. But it always just shocks me. Because I don't think I was ever that bad. And maybe that's part of it, that I was a boring kid. But the idea of, like, jeez. I mean, this is a problem every once in a while. That's particularly not great on Twitch or YouTube. But I will have people that will show up to my streams. Yeah, it's great that he actually did grow up. And yeah, I'm not going to reach out to him because, like, he ruined my friendship with some people. Because we were fighting on whether or not to ban him, and they were trying to be more friendly than I was, and I was just, like, giving the boot, and they were like, how could he be so heartless? You know, he'll grow up at some point. And you know what? They're right, but I left, and then they left, and I'm not going to be able to find them again, which sucks. But no, one thing I run into on Twitch and YouTube is people trying to get my attention, or trying to get everybody's attention, or just trying to get attention in general, like you said, and that bothers me. And maybe I've just, well, it's weird. I never really specifically felt like I was an attention getter kind of personality. I attract it, obviously. Hi, that's really loud. Like, obviously, I've put myself in the forefront of an audience, and so, of course, attention getting is important. I've just never really felt like it was particularly necessary for me to, like, demand it or, like, garner it beyond just, like, the merits of my own actions. And so it's hard for me to empathize with people that are specifically trying to get attention. The one that I always get really stuck on are people that are, like, super doom and gloom, and woe is me and stuff. So I think we had... we've definitely had people that, like, come by being like, my life has no meaning. Wanda, do you think I should kill myself? And I'm like, holy shit, no. But I've had that happen every couple of years. It's not a common occurrence, but when it does, I'm just like, shit, I have no idea how to deal with this. My gut reaction is just to boot them, because they're probably just trying to get attention. But, like, in the off chance they aren't, I don't want to be responsible for, like, pushing somebody over the edge. Because the idea of that is terrifying. Because I've already had that happen. I think I even told that story during Grim Dawn the last time we played. The friend of mine that had killed himself. And I still feel mildly responsible for putting him into a particularly bad funk and not helping pulling him out. Yeah, yandere speak. Fun in anime, not fun in real life. Yeah, it's especially one of those where it's like, I am here trying to entertain the maximum number of people. And, you know, give people kind of a fun thing to sit and listen to or experience or whatnot. And it's really off-putting when somebody feels like they need to countermand that in some manner, especially in such a dark way. And, like, my problem is, and maybe I should actually, like, at some point, talk to, like, a therapist or something about, like, not for myself, but, like, obviously I never want to be a therapist for someone else. Weirdly enough, that was actually my fallback option. If I didn't get into art school, I was potentially going to look into, you know, emotional therapy in general, being a therapist, being a psychologist, something like that, just to see, like, yeah, that would be interesting to me. I like helping people, and I think that wouldn't be a bad career option for me, and I still think I'd actually be, like, I would have been okay at it had I stuck with that idea, but obviously I got into art school and rest is history. Yeah, therapists have the highest crack rate. Yeah, which is rough. But, like, I feel like it wouldn't be a terrible idea for me to some small degree to, like, take a couple of classes at some point. Just from a, like, I'm not here to help people, but my words have more impact than I mean. And I hope I'm always doing good with it, but it's kind of one of those where it's like, I would prefer to have the insights of an actual professional. Maybe. I don't actually even know if it would help. It just seems like the responsible thing to do would be to actually, like, just try it anyway. Do you have a suicide hotline command? I probably should. That would probably be the easiest, and best way for me to do things. The problem is, like, I've been there, and that's oftentimes, like, the last thing somebody wants to hear in these situations. Like, I've had friends that were legitimately on the path of full self-destruction, and they found that sort of thing to be very condescending. And, like, I could encourage them to look at it. Or look at it, give Suicide Hotline a call. But it even suggesting it more pissed them off than anything else. And maybe it's one of those that, like, maybe those aren't the people that are actually in danger. I don't know, but it's one of those where it's like, I don't like being the responsible adult in the room. I can if I need to be, but if I don't need to be, I'd rather not. I like leading. I like taking charge if there is a problem, but it's kind of one of those where it's like, I don't trust myself to know enough in an actual emergency to truly be responsible for other people. So, like, you know, obviously I can work with, like, medical emergencies to some small degree, or, like, small-scale disasters, but, like, emotional health is something that is an absolute unknown for me. Hello.
You must be one tough's lift to make it out here on your own. Death Marcadris of the Black Legion. What brings you here, citizen?
Exploring the area.
I see. Well, I can't stop you from going out there, but I must warn you that the wilds out here are not to be trifled with. The jagged waste to the west is full of manticores, but if you're foolish enough to venture there, perhaps you'd be willing to bring something back for me.
Sure, what do you need?
Manticore waste stalkers pack a potent venom up their barbed tails. It's quite caustic and can burn through nearly anything. My hope is the Legion can use it in their effort against the Chthonian invaders. We're dealing with a large group of cultists up near Homestead, and they were starting to bring in their larger demons from the void. We need to turn the tide and fast, or soon there won't be a home to defend. If you bring me back a venom gland from the Waste Stalker, then I will probably gladly provide you with a blade specially coated with their poison. Should do some serious damage in a fight. What do you say?
Sure.
It's far enough. You entered Black Legion camp. State your business.
Looking to do my part.
Ah, well, my men are stretched thin and the beasts are numerous. You could do us all a favor by killing just about anything roaming the wilds, but if you're keen on risking your life, I do have a few targets in mind that I'd gladly pay you to eliminate. The west is an area known as Jagged Waste. If you will find a there you will find a pride of manticores, their matriarch, Mogara, a bloodthirsty beast with a taste for human flesh. Put her down, and I'll give you a fine share of iron bits.
Sure. Let's see. Am I missing something? There's a star here for some reason. Oh, weird. Okay. In this case, you literally can't be the person in charge. Stream is the opposite of proper setting and helps to help someone. Actual help will require a lot more connection than you have with a random person in chat. Yup. Unfortunately for some people, that... I literally am the, like, maximum amount of socialization some people get in a week. And sometimes I am quite literally the only human connection another person may have, and that's terrifying. I don't like the idea of that, but it does happen. Like, I'd much prefer it if everybody came into this with a healthy mindset. But I realize that, like, I can't control that. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, it's not. And honestly, for the most part, that's not too much of an issue. But, like, I've definitely had people say, like, you were the only human voice I've heard in weeks. And I'm just like, oh, no. And, like, I'm glad I can help in that sort of circumstance, but that's also the kind of thing that... That's a lot of weight to put on my contributions. And it's always a little scary to hear that from people. I'm like, I don't... Oh, I'm not trained for this. Hence my ideation of, like, might actually be a good idea to just mildly, figure out exactly, like, hey, what would be healthy responses in this situation? How do I let people down softly? Beyond, like, what I can figure out on my own. But the problem is, like, yeah, it's one of those that the better educated I am in general on, like, how to do anything, the better it's going to be for the people that I interact with, ish. We're not shooting. There we go. Okay, I can't pick it up because I only need one. It used to be the case for you. Then you got a job as cashier where socialization is a requirement. Enjoyed my job, despite being a low-key introvert. That's good. It's nice that you can kind of get out of your shell, and also having a job is very important. I mean, ish. I don't know. Feels weird to say that. It always feels, like, weirdly dismissive. Maybe is the right word. I don't like the idea of someone's employment being their value. Because it's true. I mean, it kind of is, especially in nowadays. But I feel like we should be beyond that within, like, a generation or two, just because of industrialization and whatnot. And the idea of, like, having a job being, like, your worth in life is spooky. I guess this comes from... I've known a number of people that have retired in the past. Yeah, deep thoughts this stream. Whenever I am playing a game that I'm so comfortable with, we just go into, like, rant bot territory. And... I don't know. Deep thoughts. I'm just gonna keep going with it until I find something else. But so specifically, right. I know a couple of people that have retired in the past couple of years. You know, adults that I used to look up to and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I ran into with them is they don't know what to do with themselves now that they have retired. And how one of them specifically just watches TV all the time. Pays attention to politics, maybe a bit too much, and gets, like, really invested in being angry about it, and so on and so forth. And it feels very unhealthy. Unlike I know my mother specifically went back to work after my brother and I graduated just because there's straight up nothing else for her to do. And the idea of, like, I guess, honestly, my mother not having anything better to do, and, I mean, getting a job, she actually is working for, like, the Massachusetts renewable energy, whatever, not administration, but she's on the renewable energy stuff, which is actually really cool, and I'm glad she's doing it, but I feel like we as a society don't give enough people worth based on just kind of their own actions in existence, separate from work. Because I know, like, one of the mental health issues that older men specifically run into, and I'm sure we're going to run into this with both genders as things equalize, but the idea of people that have left the workforce suddenly, yeah, not having a value to society. And it's actually really depressing, and that's part of the reason why men specifically have a lower life expectancy, I think. At least based on, like, the random statistics I ran into with this and factoid bits. So I'm probably regurgitating false information. But there's apparently something actually quite depressing about retirement. I don't think I will ever retire. I don't know if I'm going to be doing YouTube for the next 30 years. I don't know if I'm going to be capable of doing YouTube for the next 30 years. Just because I don't even know if YouTube's going to exist 30 years from now. I don't know what the gaming streaming market's going to look like. But, like, I feel like if I were to retire, it would probably be to work on something entirely else. Like writing, or maybe a webcomic. That might be a little hard. Someone that's been on disabled for 12 years and will be 40 next month. I can comment on all of this. Your input is appreciated. Because, like, I don't think I will ever be able to enact much of a change in life or in other people's lives. But I feel like talking about it somewhat openly probably doesn't hurt. Wow, that lifesteal is actually really good. See, people have their reasons for not speaking with people or not being around other people. Some mental ailments are cruel. Not many people know how to deal with it. Other people can be looked at as weird. Yeah, and I actually totally understand. I understand, like, why people might not be out in society. I know I've known some people that straight up shut down. And yeah, just lock themselves away for X number of years or the rest of their lives. See, is this veteran or normal? I'm on normal. I'm lazy. Veteran probably would have made this more interesting from, like, a mechanical standpoint, but I'm just here to kind of punch through things. As a man, it's really hard to ask for help and be dependent on others. And then you lose the use of your legs for a few years and learn how to humble yourself, but it's hard. Oh god, I can't even imagine. I honestly can't. I guess to some small degree, that's part of the reason why, like, I would, like, some amount of professional training, so I know... Almost sensitivity training for people that care? Like, not like, oh, god damn it. Who's the robot emperor of Facebook? I've totally forgotten his name. Shit, I honestly can't remember. I can perfectly picture his face. He's creepy in human face. Zuckerberg, there we go. Like, Mark Zuckerberg specifically had to go to, like, human training, as strange as that is, so that he wouldn't creep people out and, like, drive Facebook stocks into the ground during the congressional hearings X number of years ago. That's you need to hand in the quests. I'll hand him in when I hand him in. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is a freaking terrifying human being, And the idea of having to go to training to be able to come off as a human being is both laughable and scary. Because no one with that kind of personality flaw should be in a place of power, because that's freaking spooky. And that's part of the reason why Facebook is so successful, is because he's an absolute monster. But that's a separate thing entirely. Seems more and more people are picking up Grim Dawn recently. Good to see. I love this game. I've been meaning to stream it for ages, and it's kind of nice to finally just sit down and say, like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. Ooh, that's a biggin. Oh, that's a biggin. We're doing okay, though. I'm reminded of all the robot Zuckerberg memes. He deserves all of them. Like, I usually get kind of itchy when I see people being ridiculed for something or other, but, like, that guy, he just needed to learn human interactions before he became what he did, and, well, he missed that opportunity. Have I played Grim Dawn before, and if so, what's the max level you've gotten? 37, I think? We're getting pretty close to the point where I quit. I usually quit right around the homestead, just because that's, like, the end of the third sit-down session, whatever. Where, like, I will play this game for about maybe 10-15 hours, and then the novelty wears off a little bit, so it's not so bad. And yeah, I like Inquisitor Demolitionist just because it's, I don't know, it's fun shit for me. I'd like to try, like, a sword and board, oh, how would I even describe it? Sword and board retaliation build, because I heard there's, like, a really goofy build that you can get at some point. Like, with one of the classes where you, like, enemies hit you and die because your retaliation is just so freaking high. Let's see, expansion areas are fun. Yeah, I'm probably, I don't know if I'm going to play Grim Dawn again, solo after this. Like, this probably is kind of a one-off series, just because almost all of mine are. So I'm going to try and shoot for 100% and just max everything out. Not to say that I'm, like, ruling out playing it again. It's just that, like, I rarely have the time. I'm usually stupid busy with, like, all of the new releases constantly coming out. Even this week, I'm going to be very busy. Like, I'm probably going to start alternating this series on YouTube with a couple other things. Just to keep up with, whatever. Really depends if the games coming out this week are actually good or not. Ori and the Blind Forest is amazing, though. And now that we're not trying to rush through Resident Evil 2 in preparation for 3, that'll make life a little easier. Because, yeah, it turns out I'm just not going to have enough time to put it all up on YouTube. Whoops, can't carry anymore. Going back. How far are we? Still a fair bit, I'm assuming.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Let's see. Gun. Why are half of these guns just considered... It really is probably the Demon's Breath. If I switch this out, does that actually... Wow, yeah. I'm not entirely sure what's accounting for that disparity, but that is a massive disparity. Okay, Blackwatch Seal. It's considerably better than the other ring I've got. Let's see, Turlin Step. It's okay. Wait, where do I... Oh. It's a component for making stuff. Not actually sure if it's really worth it for me to just keep picking up all this stuff, or if I should honestly just ignore it. If you can squeeze in Shadow of the Colossus this month, might get some hits from being free on Plus. Ooh, yeah. Maybe? I might honestly have to do that without Shell, though. Her voice has been kind of rough. Let's see. No, I really like that Crimson Heart. For the regen and some other things.
Come see what's left of my wares.
So if you can get a character at higher difficulties you can get with an item, allows a character to unlock lower difficulties complete with skill point rewards and bag space. Saves a lot of time. Oh. That actually, that does sound handy. Oh. Quickening gem. Not really. Bonus to full spread and... Ooh. There's full spread and box of Elagath. But that's storm spread. Do I have those? I'm not... I have... Oh, there's Stormbox of Elagath. It's okay. I'm not actually sure if it'd be that better. Oh, you can turn off the auto-search confirmation in the options. I should probably do that. Is it interface? Ah, there it is. Thank you! I love the options in this game. They're pretty good. Anyway, just to finish my little thing about sensitivity training, seeing I was talking about it. It's like, I think just on some base level, I would really like to be able to... Maybe not connect to people better, because I don't think I will ever, like, truly get to that point. But it would be nice to know that, like, I am more capable of interacting with other people that might be troubled as a result, regardless of what their reasons are. Let's see, 100% chance of... 100% burn damage with extra duration. That might be okay. I'm not really going for that. Torch still kicks ass, though. I guess for people that know Demolitionist and Inquisitor, so I knew Zombie was or Ghoul is good, Hydra is good. What other things should I actually go down? Let's see, is Giant's Blood any good? It's a lot of regen and armor, which is good, but not really what I'm going for. Hawk. This thing? That's Falcon. That's Vulture. Where's Hawk? Hawk. Yeah, the reduced cunning requirement for ranged weapons might be good. Seems a bit thin. What does it give? Does give green. What else do we have? I'm just going to keep looking at things for a bit. I guess I'm mostly interested in, is there anything amazing on the outer limits? I should be paying attention to. Because it seems like these big ones all the way out here are really neat looking. A lot of pierce and bleed. Maybe I should just search fire. Again. Because we know torch. Fire retaliation. Yeah. See, I don't need fire retaliation as much. There's this sucker. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get to this one anytime soon, ever. Oh, right, there was the Phoenix. Still retaliation, though. There's a lot of retaliation, actually. I'm a bit shocked by that. Oh. Summons dudes that just explode. crit damage, frostburn. It really torches... I guess torches is the way to go. And there's also the old man. A lot of bonus fire damage. Do you need to go that way? Elemental damage, physical damage, elemental damage. Yeah, I guess let's start doing candle. I'll pick up some extra green, and then we can start going down the old man, and just pick up as much, raw fire and elemental as I can get. Let's see, I think you'd love... Oh, I see. You're talking to somebody else. I was like, I don't want to switch classes. That would be bad. I don't actually even know if switching classes is particularly viable. I know you can respec, I just don't know if you can do, like, a full class change. Oh, boy. Okay. Dark topics, I think I'm exhausted on. We got anything else that I... Oh, I went the wrong direction. Anything else I should randomly ramble about? Trying to think of games. I mean, I guess we were talking about... Shadow of the Colossus. You really want me to play Shadow of the Colossus, don't you? It's up there. I think my only reason why I'm like, on Shadow of the Colossus compared to, like, say, trying to rush through Resident Evil is Resident Evil 3 is coming out and there's kind of a reason to do it. I know Shadow of the Colossus is an amazing game, but unless there was, like, a sequel announced, it's harder for me to push into, like, my schedule and say, like, yeah, I can really fit that in. Let's see. Is the new Path of Exile League launching on Friday? Yup. I am mixed on whether or not I'm going to touch it. I really feel like I need to play a Path of Exile fully at least once as well. But the whole, like, woes about my schedule thing is like... With Grim Dawn, I can say, like, yeah, I'm done with this game. I don't have to worry about it anymore. With Path of Exile, like, there's kind of the expectation that, like, you do every league or, like, a number of the leagues, and it's just like, I don't have time for that. At least it's better than, like... Oh, what is it? I played a bunch of Destiny 2 last year, and I thought Destiny 2 was actually pretty rad. But then they kept cycling seasons, and they will keep cycling seasons. That's really hard for me, because I'm just like, oh, shoot. Yeah, so if I want to keep up and get all the cool stuff, I'm just going to have to keep doing season after season to get everything, I'm like, yeah, I could just skip the league entirely and just play vanilla, which isn't a bad idea. It's probably, honestly, the better idea, but it's hard for me to get into it. Because, I mean, I'm sure a number of you guys have seen what I do. It's very much like a, don't dwell on anything, keep moving, find new stuff, find new interesting things. And just keep trying stuff out. I think it also fits into my personality a bit better. I'm very much a... I'm not going to say I get bored easily. Learning and experimenting with new mechanics is something that I absolutely relish. And it's hard for me to get into, like, the same game for X number of hours without being like, oh my god, I've just been here for the last 30 hours. And so, like, with this one, I think with Grim Dawn specifically, it appeals in a way that a lot of other Diablo-likes don't, because I'm constantly slowly adding to my build. Admittedly, my build is mostly just collect as many proc effects as I can get on hit, and then just become a living flamethrower. But it's not the end of the world. I rather enjoy it. I should probably go back to that fort thing, because I think that's a standalone. I think there's a warp point near it. Do I fill out the map first, though? I have no idea. Yeah. Because I think this is going to block me off because of rock. Yeah, okay, let's go back. This fort up ahead. No, 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 no. I've gotten past Tyrant's Hold. Definitely gonna miss out on some quests. Ish.